The air smelled of damp earth and pine as Max and I drove through winding country roads. The tension that had gripped my chest for weeks, slowly unraveling with every mile we left behind. My mother was finally stable, recovering at home under my careful watch, and for the first time in months, I felt like I could take a full breath. Max had suggested this trip, a weekend at a quiet lakeside cabin where I could rest, recharge, and simply be. At first, I hesitated. The thought of stepping away, of putting distance between myself and the responsibilities that had consumed me, felt unnatural. But I knew I needed this. I needed a moment to breathe. When we finally arrived, the sight of the lake took my breath away. It stretched wide and unbroken, reflecting the fading golden hues of the evening sky. The cabin, nestled between tall evergreens, exuded warmth and solitude. The wooden porch creaked softly under my feet as I stepped out of the car, inhaling the crisp mountain air. I let the stillness settle over me, closing my eyes as the faint rustle of leaves in the breeze whispered a quiet welcome. Inside, the cabin was small but inviting. A stone fireplace stood at its heart, the scent of old wood and lavender lingering in the air. Cozy blankets draped over the couch, and a large window overlooked the lake, its waters glistening under the waning light of the setting sun. It felt like a world apart, far from the worries that had plagued me for so long. That first evening, Max and I sat by the fireplace, wrapped in blankets with cups of tea warming our hands. The flames crackled softly, casting golden flickers of light along the wooden walls. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I let myself relax, my head resting against Max's shoulder as the weight of exhaustion slowly melted away. The next morning, I woke early, drawn outside by the gentle lapping of the lake against the shore. The mist curled above the water like a delicate veil, shifting as the sun's first light kissed the surface. I wrapped myself in a thick cardigan, stepping barefoot onto the dewy grass, allowing the cool earth to ground me. The world felt still, untouched, as if it had been waiting for me to pause long enough to notice its beauty. Max joined me a while later, handing me a steaming mug of coffee. We stood in silence, watching the sky bloom with soft pastels, the gentle rhythm of the water mirroring the steady calm I felt beginning to grow within me.
I've never seen you this quiet,
Max finally said, a smile in his voice. I let out a small laugh, shaking my head. I think I forgot what it felt like to slow down. He turned to me then, eyes warm with understanding.
You've been carrying so much, Selena. You don't always have to be the one holding everything together.
The words settled deep in my chest. I had always been the caretaker, the protector, the one ensuring everyone else was safe. But in doing so, I had neglected myself. I had pushed my own needs aside, burying my exhaustion beneath layers of responsibility. We spent the day exploring the woods surrounding the cabin, the scent of pine and damp leaves wrapping around us as we walked. The crunch of twigs beneath our boots, the distant call of birds, the simple act of existing without expectation. It all felt like a kind of healing I hadn't realized I needed. We collected firewood, skipped stones across the lake, and let the cool mountain air flush away the weight of worry that had become second nature to me. That evening, we sat by the water, watching the sky darken as stars slowly began to appear. The reflection of the moon shimmered across the surface, casting a silver glow that felt almost ethereal. I leaned against Max, my fingers entwined with his, and exhaled a breath I felt like I had been holding for years. I think I'm finally starting to feel like myself again, I murmured, more to myself than to him. Max squeezed my hand gently.
Good. You deserve to feel at peace.
As the night deepened, I found myself realizing something important. This trip wasn't just about taking a break. It was about allowing myself to heal, to accept that I was not just someone who gave love, but someone who deserved to receive it in return. It was about learning to nurture myself with the same tenderness I gave to others. For a Cancer like me, home had always been the people I loved, the spaces I created with warmth and care. And in that moment, wrapped in the quiet embrace of nature and the steady presence of the man beside me, I knew I had found a new kind of home. A home within myself.